My wife, F27, wants me, M28, to have a concubine when we travel to China. For clarity, it's late in the evening and this post was done with a throwaway since I am taking no chances with my wife finding my account even though she doesn't use Reddit at all. Anyways, while my wife and I are both Chinese, I was born in California and she was born in mainland China and didn't immigrate until she was a teenager. She is also deeply into Chinese history, loves cultural roleplay, refers to me as her emperor, and we have gone to numerous Chinese events. I'm not extremely thrilled to go each time since these take up big chunks of the day, but I think it's pretty cool learning about the history, culture of my people, and I will always be supportive of my wife's interests and hobbies. This past December my wife and I decided that we plan to visit China this coming summer. She initially asked if I was hesitant and I told her a bit since 1. It would be my first time. 2. I would rate my speaking and writing skills at a solid C+. And 3. I didn't want to be seen as a foreigner despite being ethnically Han Chinese. Most of all. 4. I'm worried about embarrassing myself and her in front of her Ye and Nai. She tried to rest assured that things will all go well, but also that it was much more than simply seeing her family and that I will be treated like an emperor. I initially didn't ask any questions since I assumed it would be more cultural stuff and that I would just be very well treated since I am family. This past weekend she asked me something that truly surprised me: if I would be interested in take a local girl as a concubine, while we are in the rural town visiting my grandparents. I truly thought this was a joke since I have given no indication that I would be interested in a marital affair. Heck, I was a virgin when I met her and had nearly zero experience with women before meeting her. When I asked if she was joking she firmly said, no. I asked again and she repeated her stance and began to list out her rules, explaining that 1. The arrangement will be consensual with the lady. 2. It will be temporary. 3. That I will use a condom. And 4. That she will watch everything. Despite this conversation happening on Saturday, I doubled down mentally thinking that it's just some sick joke. But lo and behold, she asked me this morning if I had thought more about her remark and I stopped repeating my stance. Before leaving for work she said, I will wait and see if things change. I've looked into this and concubines are indeed a thing in Chinese history. But truly this has to be something else, right? I'm not doing this. How do I get her to stop asking? TLDR. I think my wife wants me to have an affair when we visit China this summer. I'm not going to do it, but she keeps bringing it up. How do I get her to stop asking me this? Edit. A few things I would like to make clear. My wife is not shy in any way, nor was she a virgin when we meet. It's literally the opposite. As I explained in the post, the closest kinks to this is that she has sometimes asked to watch me jerk off to porn, and her use of the term emperor. Pretty much nothing is even close to her current suggestion. Nor am I asking is this a current phenomenon. Hence why I clearly said, in Chinese history, and used the modern phrase, marital affair. I kept the term in to contrast the wildly different perspectives that we have on this situation. Instead, I'm specifically asking how to shut this whole thing down. A few people also made remarks about my use of "lo and behold." I didn't know I was spelling the phrase incorrectly. I've always used it like so and was never corrected until now. And seems to be a common typo too. https www.google.com/search Q equals %22 load plus and plus behold %22 and scav equals 4,629,165,226 BBEF06 and RLZ equals 1 CD GOI and US 1090 and HL equals ENIS and SXSRF equals ACQVN095XLTA. P8KN05 GTFKJTRWLEF 214W %3A1707278367682 and A equals HWDDZCXKE 2 grams 5 no pi king AI and OQ equals %22 load plus and plus behold %22 and GSLP equals EHNTB2. JPBGUTZ3 GLXDPI1 ZZXJWIHEIBG9 HZCBHBMQGYM VOB2XKIJILEAAYGAQ Yigai KQIY Bragia E Maguki Ragati Gie FHGM GSQAB IABBIKBRIG Azalia Ygak Yig UYHG My CX Ajaigi of Giad Snen U No Dwi Macaf 4 Azabaj G BTG AGBG JQGE JNS 4 XLJE UMC 4 Shwedya EAABW JIKEAAYRX JWBBIWAIDB Bigagi BGGQBG G and Sclient equals mobile GW Swiss SERP hashtag IP equals 1. I plan to speak with my wife within the next few days to confirm that this is either a fetish of hers or it's something more sinister. Plans to divorce me. Yeah. This isn't about culture. This is a kink and she's using culture as pretext. I personally wouldn't do it. Even consensual sex that's paid for is ethically problematic in a lot of cases and it's just overall weird to me personally. But you do you. It's not an affair if it's with her knowledge and consent. It's essentially a kink, desire that she's expressed interest in and you can respond to it as such. I see that you're interested in this. But it's not something I'm interested in. Please stop asking me about it. I always laugh when people say throwaway account for obvious reasons then proceeds to describe the most specific details about their entire life situation. How long have you known each other and been married? Have you talked to family and friends about your concerns going to China? Obviously not the sexual stuff. I agree with the comments about this being a sexual kink. You have told her clearly, no. I'm not sure what more you can do. Maybe tell her in detail how it makes you feel, so she knows how much you dislike it. Consider how you might be at disadvantage if you travel. Not just with language but also things like transport and accessing services if you need them like doctors and police. It sounds like your wife is being persistent if not pushy. She might behave differently if you are in China and you will be relying on her. You could be very out of your depth and vulnerable, especially somewhere rural. Op had me at load and behold. My first thought is, it's a trap. My second is that it might be a fetish for her. I would ask her what led to this idea, concept, request. As it's not something you would ever had conceived of. It might be she wants to watch you with someone else and doing it in a completely different country. Means you never have a chance of anyone at home finding out. Just tell her point blank that you won't be doing it. This is someone's fetish bait. Shy, virginal Chinese girl who is really a freak but don't worry it's okay because it's cultural. LMFAO sure thing champ. Absolutely not. Just tell her no. This is a huge part of your relationship she's asking to change on a whim and it's going to have unintended consequences. It's got nothing to do with some cultural experience. This is 100% a fetish, kink. And once you open the door for another person, you can't close it again. She may be caught up in this fantasy because of the trip, but how will she feel a year from now? When you guys are back to day-to-day life, she may find that she resents you or that she wants an extra encounter of her own. Also, there is a very high chance any woman you make an arrangement with is a victim of human trafficking. On that principle alone, it should be an absolute no. Just tell her you aren't comfortable opening your marriage to other people for any reason. Communicate more effectively. You sound quite passive twice now, asking her if she's joking. She obviously is not. Also, just the logistics of arranging this around a family visit sounds nightmarish. She's talking about a local woman in her grandparents' village. You really think people won't talk? That you won't be seen? Absolutely not. Lastly, the entire premise of this fantasy is disturbing. She essentially wants you to ravish a poor village woman for a power trip fantasy. It's pretty despicable. Either she has a cuckween fetish or she's planning on cheating. Or already did so, and wants to balance the scales. Could be either one. Could be both. The fact that she wants to watch would somewhat imply the first. But who knows? Though, you should probably keep in mind that even if this is 100% because she thinks watching you play out her emperor-concubine fantasy is hot, well, it's entirely possible that she'll have a different reaction when it happens than she's having in her fantasy, and your vacation will turn into dealing with a marriage in crisis. Sounds like your wife has a fetish. You probably want to discuss this more with her over the coming months. There is nothing in modern Chinese culture that supports this view from her. This is a weird sex thing for her. This is obviously fake. Nah, I'm Chinese and will threaten my husband with castration if he takes a concubine. You ever noticed no one's ever a peasant in any of these scenarios? I'd be very hesitant in playing into her kink fantasy because it could blow right up in your face and also be very demeaning to the person you're going to use. Just tell her no. Sounds like she's more into the whole emperor thing than she let on. How comfortable are you inquiring seriously into her reasons for pushing this issue? Sounds like she has a fantasy that she's married to an actual emperor and wants to live out that fantasy. I'm not going to pay to have sex with someone I don't want to have sex with. Stop obsessing over it. This reads fake to me. Just a kid spinning tales for clicks. It isn't original or clever in any way. Just more trash for the landfill. People can't be this dense to think a traditional woman of any caliber would suggest such things. Much less if they actually loved each other. The fake stories farming for karma are becoming a bit much these days. Hold your horses, Wangshang.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Heracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.